Good evening again, and welcome to the City of Gilbert City Council meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, May 9th of 2023. The time is 6:25 p.m. Roll call if Jill is...
She's there.
She's there.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mayor. I have Councilor Condon.
Here.
Councilor Heisman, absent with notice. Mayor Smith.
Here.
Councilor Bullock.
Here.
Councilor Stanton.
Here.
I also have in attendance Attorney Lindsay, City Engineer Jeremy, Operations Supervisor Bodiger, Campbell Flanagan, and myself, Clerk Dollar.
Thank you. We
Randy, can you turn it up a little bit more? Is it possible?
do have a quorum. If I could have everybody stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any additions or deletions? None?
Nope.
No, I have no additions.
We'll move on to the consent agenda.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Polis,
I'll support.
supported by Councilor Skinsich. Any further discussion?
I was just going to ask the clerk if we have enough funds to cover the bills for this session.
Yes, we do. We will be holding off though on the Magny bills for the $150,000 in the Stantec until we get that additional funding.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. We'll move on to public input. 3rd of July committee.
Most of you know who I am, but for those of you that don't, my name is Barb Kern, and I'm here to represent the 3rd of July Committee and ask the council if we have permission to put a flyer in the public utility bill for the month of June. That's it.
Have you in the past used that method of...
We have. Yes, and we were told this year that we needed to come to the council to get approval to do that. So that's why I'm here.
Okay.
That way it goes out to all of the residents. of
Right.
Gilbert.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor...
Renee,
Yes.
a question from the staff was, are they a part of the city or was this considered a donation? And we want to make sure we're just doing things correctly and not getting the city in a binding. They're going in our utility bill, and maybe this is a question for Attorney Lindsay, just to ensure that we're not crossing anything that's against statute for this type of endeavor.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. That's me.
No, can't have two mics on it.
So, Mr. Mayor, as a technical matter, I believe that the 3rd of July Committee is a separate body from the city, but there is no prohibition necessarily against allowing this flyer to go out as part of the utility bill mailing.
That answers that.
Perfect.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Polis, seconded by Councilor Skinsich to approve the additional 3rd of July committee notification in our billing. Any further discussion?
It's just, what's in the flyer? Is it just asking for donations or?
It is just a sample of asking for
okay.
donations for the parade, and then signing up for the kiddie parade on the 4th, if there's anyone interested in taking that over.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Asepik?
Anyone else?
Nope. That, or any other public input, sorry.
Yes.
There is.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Bob Butler. This here is Len Lund. We represent Apex Group. We own the property at 123 Broadway, and we own the 2 adjacent vacant lots across the street going east. We're looking to do some development. Been working with the IRR and Franson Bank. We're looking to put up a multi-unit apartment complex. We're looking to possibly purchase parcel, excuse me one second here. Parcel 060-0110-00420 on Orbegon. I don't know if it's for sale or not, or if we'd be looking at some sort of deal to work with the city. I have a couple concept here drawings if you don't mind me coming up and showing you.
Please. So this property is on Orbegon?
You guys can pass it around. These were developed by W.A. Fisher out of Virginia. The second piece is on the vacant lots we have. Speaking with Ms. Ridland with the IRR.
I'm not quite following that.
I don't know if you're familiar with Whitney or have worked with her at all in the past. She's kind of leading up their land development and infrastructure work. There is federal funding and state funding coming through for EV development for charging stations. We're going to have a meeting about that on the 17th of this month. I'll be participating in.
That was a crep property, right? That crep was?
Yep, I believe so.
Oh, there's the baseball field. That's a little field then.
This lower one. Apologize, we're trying to figure out
Oh, no worries.
property. So, no, this is the...
They kind of did a little goofy job with that, so it kind of gives you a little bit of a headache if you look at it from the funny way.
You guys get that, this is Krebs.
What was the other one?
That's kind of where Sailor was looking, proposed.
Yeah.
Just
What was
off
the
the
other one
ball
with the
field.
solar panels then? What is that? With the solar panels on it, where is that property?
That'd be directly east of 123 Broadway. That
Where Risky Business was.
I think that's the building we have. It has that in the sign, so that is it In Time or what's it called?
That, the old Sturks
Used to be
building.
antique, used to say the old antique place, antique, and now it's, yeah. So then we got the, you guys just demoed that
Yeah,
building down, so those 2 properties, those 2 bare.
right across from the
properties are
curling
ready to go
club, right across the main street from the
Tree,
Oh,
okay,
that
yeah,
corner
that old
lot
house there.
So
Yeah.
you're just looking to put solar panels in?
I'll be attending a meeting on the 17th this month to see what kind of federal and state grants they have. Ideally, you'd have solar panels, and that would also be like you tie that into the grid and be an EV charging station. And then considering how close we are to the Masabi Trail, you could also charge bikes there. So it seem to be kind of rising in popularity. And then possibly work with you guys to maybe develop some sort of park there. Kind of just open for ideas. That's a proposal we have for on Main Street there. I guess our bigger proposal was for developing the apartment complex.
Did you say that's a low-cost housing project? Or?
No, it would be market rate. It would not be subsidized.
Like high-efficiency apartments.
Condos?
Yeah, what I envision, you look at the cities, you look at Duluth, almost everywhere but the Iron Range, you see the same tri-tone, nicer-looking, higher-end apartments, 2-3 bedroom where you get like a younger professional that would move in and want to live for 4 or 5 years before buying a house up here. One of the biggest of things that hold us up attracting people even at Mintac is you try to get these engineers to move up here and nobody wants to because you either find not that great of an apartment or a rental, or you have to commit to buying a $200,000 house. So I know that's a holdup for us. It's a holdup for other areas. I think we would have some backing from the IRR on the infrastructure work. We work with Franson Bank for the financing. They'd be willing to finance a portion of it. We do have other financiers that would do the gap funding between for the down payment part of it.
How many units were you looking at?
That concept is for 15.
15?
Yes.
Would there be an expansion possible then?
Yes.
Or what?
And, you know, this is just a concept. We haven't done any engineering studies or architecture spending for what it would end up costing. But obviously, if we went to that stage and it looked like it'd be more cost efficient, bang for a buck to go to 20 units or something like that, we would proceed with that. This is just kind of in the initial stages.
Did you hear a discussion about that school property? This is kind of what we were looking for, you know, for that possibly, a development.
Whereabouts is that at?
It's just right up the hill, directly behind the Broadway Manor, that's right here.
Yeah, I think we'd be definitely interested in visiting. That's why we're here, definitely, to get to know each other. We've got a group of 7 of us that actually, we need to actually acclimate ourselves with you folks. We really like what the city does here. I'm very impressed with what you folks have done. The streets, the sidewalks, I mean, I think you guys are heading in the right position. We want to be part of that. And that's why we're here to talk to you. That's the best way to do this, is that we have these opportunities in the future, and if you guys can throw this at us, we'd be more than happy to say, hey, we can develop this or we can develop that. We're more than happy to work with you folks, and I think it'd be a win-win for everybody. And also bring that tax revenue in here like we talked about, get that tax base up a little bit, which helps everybody. And if we can do more of it, I mean, we can maybe keep some of the taxes down. That's up to you folks, but you know, sometimes the more we can get, the better off everybody is, you know. There's ideas, and we'd like to work with you folks.
Yeah, it's
definitely.
Really interesting from my point of view anyway. Yeah,
and we're all, the other thing is we're all, you know, you got to look at this. I'm the outsider, I'm the old timer of all these 7 guys. I'm the old bugger here. So, but anyways, we have a young group of people here that everybody works up here or from this area, except for me. I'm from Cloquet, but I commute. I still work at Mintac. I'm half Finlander, so my mother came from this area, so I'm not quite a full packsacker, so I'm still in somewhat. But I just think that we're definitely trying to actually keep things local as much as we possibly can. And that's something else we can maybe throw out there too, is as much as we can, maybe these buildings need to become more local. How can we buy as much local stuff as possible for you? There's different spins that we can put on these things. You know, we got, and maybe keep it all Minnesota. Maybe there's some more grants. There's so much money, I think, available right now that we don't know about, that we can all work together and say, hey, we got this for this and this, and maybe we can create some more jobs and keep some things going in the state. Just some ideas.
I guess one thing we're just kind of hoping today to introduce ourselves more before making any kind of decision or moving forward right away on kind of looking at how we can partner with the city. One thing, you know, I mentioned on there possibly buying or doing some sort of land swap, possibly on the Orbegon, or looking at the school property. And then one other thing, I don't know what kind of funds or loan the city would be interested in doing for some of the engineering costs to develop the building before moving forward with construction costs. So those are a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. I could also forward some of the information I have from Whitney and from Franson Bank for what we'd be looking at for financing and how the IRR would support this. And if someone was available on the 17th, I could forward the meeting on the EV charging stations. It sounds like they're looking for kind of shovel-ready projects in the near term rather than the long term.
So that's where the solar panels, that would be the EV charging station there then?
Yes.
Right.
We put them on top of the building too, and then kind of the concept was, you know, you have kind of a green space on top of the building. You'd have solar up there, maybe like some sort of community garden, something. We kind of threw that up there as people seem to like that.
So there was no plan for garages with this apartment?
Not as of right now, but that's definitely something we could look at adding on.
You know, up here, it's almost a necessity. winters, but.
One of our drawings, actually, we haven't got everything in place, but another concept was perhaps put the garages underneath.
Oh, okay.
Underneath there, but again, we got to look at what, where we're at for levels, how many levels, do we have to put elevators in, what is the city looking at? There's things that we have to learn and go work with you folks about. And we're willing to do whatever it takes, but it just, if the lower we can keep these costs down to keep this going, we can keep those rents actually, more flexible a little bit, so we don't have to charge as much for rents, and we might not be able to fill them then.
Right.
So there is that little teeter-totter there.
I guess, would there be one of you gentlemen, would there be a good point of contact I could send some of this information to?
I think the best is to our clerk, Zoller,
Okay.
right to the city office, and then she can distribute it or disperse it to us.
Okay, and would that be on the city for her email, or?
Yeah.
We can get that for you.
Yeah. Are you there, Jill?
I am. If I can get a telephone number, I'll reach out to him.
218-780-1916.
Perfect. I will be back in the office next week after my training.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Want their reports back.
Oh,
Yeah. You guys,
Oh, you guys can keep that.
sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Pass it on to the audience. They might be interested to see what,
Yeah.
if they are. Yeah.
If they want to see, anybody in the audience want to see?
On a lighter note, I'd like to inform the council that hopefully we'll go and pick up the flowers this Friday. We got 5 to 7 volunteers to work on that, and we'll see where we go with that. And I'll have to stop in the office and get a purchase order for the flowers from the city. And if it runs over $500, we'll see where that goes. I don't know. That's the lighter note. Then the other one is, I'm here for 2 reasons. The other one is, if I may address Sam. I understand that Linda's here with me, and we understand that we got a request to see if we can get some railings up at the cemetery on the steps.
The cemetery chapel. It's a beautiful chapel. It's a historic building. And the steps are in pretty good shape. However, for safety reasons, not just for myself with my disability, but anyone, particularly people that are older, should have a railing on both sides of the stairway.
And I'd like to turn that over to Sam, if you could address the council on that.
So yeah, so that's what I did here Monday. It was requested to, about the railing and whatnot. So I just told them come up under public input, and I would talk to council on it. So yeah, what they're talking about is at the chapel up there. We got Memorial Day weekend coming up. Is that about 2.5 weeks out?
About that, yeah.
There's no hand railings going up into the chapel. So I contacted Scott Haken, and he's the one who put the railings up in front of City Hall for us. He did a nice job doing it. He gave me a price of $3,400 to build and make some railings for that chapel and install them and paint them. So I don't know if this is something that, we have to wait till the next meeting to put on, or if that's something council can do and give approval or not approval if they wanted to move forward with a project like this up there. But, I did get a price on it and brought it forward. I know, like I say, Scott did say it'd be tough to get them installed if they were to be approved before Memorial Day, but he would do his best to get one for sure installed. So it's kind of a time crunch. It was just brought up to my attention, and I did some, calling around, and Scott was able to give me a price. So it'd be up to council if you would want to move forward or what with this project.
And on a very positive note, Gilbert Cemetery is a beautiful cemetery, and the Memorial Day program is well attended there. And 1 or 2 years ago, a few years ago, I should say, the people came there, and Leo had set chairs inside the chapel because it was inclement weather. And we had quite a number of elderly people climbing up there. So again, it's a beautiful cemetery, beautiful service, and Leo and I take pride in it.
Okay. And along those lines, last fall, the KSKJ Lodge, we had a fundraiser to dedicate some money to the cemetery fund. We raised $2,000. Unfortunately, we had to couldn't go through the city because of the KSKJ rules. So we gave the money. The church is holding it. St. Joseph's is holding it. And I think I can speak safely that the idea was to spend the money on the statues that are up there, the crucifix and stuff. But if we had to, because I know the city's in dire straits for money, we probably could maybe contribute to the railings. But the most I could commit to, I think, is about $1,000 of the two that we raised, because we got to save some money for doing the upgrade on the statues. We're trying to get reinstall the lights and stuff. So we'd be willing to, on behalf of the KSKJ, I think we'd be willing to help the city, with doing the railing or something. We didn't dedicate any special project up there. We're just hoping to raise some money for the community to keep going with it, so it would help the city. If you decided to go and do that, I think I can speak pretty safely that we'd contribute $1,000 towards that project and kind of split the money. I know Carl Oberstar was our president, and there's about half a dozen of us, but pretty sure, whatever we can do to improve the cemetery will help. So with that in mind, I'll leave it up to you guys. Thank you.
Any other public input? Mr. Osepik?
We had a number of items. Go on.
No. There you go.
I had a number of items, but I'll cut it short tonight. I just want to let you know that I was doing some research online, and I came across an article in the Mesabi Tribune from last April 10th, written by Linda Tyson, stating the fact that City Hall would be closed 2 days a week. That was 13 months ago, and we're still not anywhere close to a full workday. You go from being open 3 days a week to 5 hours a day to 6 hours a day, and we're still shy. And as I mentioned before, all the cities in the area are open a full business day, and I don't know why Gilbert can't be. And Chisholm opens at 6:30, and they close at 4. They're open 9.5 hours a day, and a short day on Friday. Now, the taxpayers of this community pay good money to operate this building. They pay good money to pay the salaries, the benefits for all the people in the staff and in the office, and they're not getting their money's worth. It's been 13 months, And I don't see any reason why it can't be open from 8 to 5 the way it should be. And my second point tonight, I've got a question for the council. I've noticed in the check register, going back for a year, there's been a lot of payments made to a company called CIT, Computer Integration Technologies, and I want to know exactly what that's been for. Because to this date, for the past year, we paid over $100,000 to that company. And I want to know what services we're receiving for that.
That'd be a question for Randy.
Randy, is that something you can answer for CIT, or?
Or Mr. Pulis and Mr. Skenzich were on the council last year. They must have contracted with them then. You gentlemen should know what we're into here. I mean, for $100,000, you better know what we're into.
If they're doing, weren't they doing?
Computer upgrades. It's our computer program, and the city, with the monies they got from COVID, they upgraded all our computers. So from the police department to City Hall, all those computers have been upgraded. And I don't know if that's...
And that cost came from the CARES Act. Didn't cover anything for city money.
That was all grant money. Right. So all the computers, but that's the programming.
Yeah. But CW Technologies was the prior company, and then CCT, and then CIT is now the new.
Didn't we recently redo everything also with new server and everything?
Yep, and we just got the new server, yep.
And they updated
new server, new firewall.
Our programming.
We had to get a new firewall because we couldn't do geo-blocking that was required by the FBI, DCA, all that. We had to be compliant.
You know, these would be, it's tough when you come in and just throw this at me, because to pull it out of my head off the top, it's harder to do. If you could give me a call or email me.
I understand that.
I'd gladly find all the information you're looking for, as would City Hall.
This has been going on for a year, and you gentlemen are paying bills practically every single month to the tune of $100,000. So you're approving the claims, and it should be your responsibility to know what you're paying. And I was just wondering what it was for. And if it was covered by grant money, that's fine. But I was under the impression that it was coming out of the city funds. So.
I believe that the money that we got from the COVID went into the general fund, and we had to use that money to pay for the upgrades and stuff, which was covered under the government stipulations of what you can use it for. So all of them transfers, I believe, were covered by the general fund, but that money from the state or government was transferred into the general fund for those purchases only. I believe that's how it went.
Maybe Jill can answer. She can
You're
hear.
correct, Councilor Polis. All of the CARES money goes into the general fund, and then the city has to cut a check off the city checking account and pay for all of those. It is our internet, our phone system that has all been upgraded, as Randy stated, our firewall. We had FBI mandatory issues that we had to be meeting, and that is where those monies are gone through to. We can certainly provide more information if you would like to come in, and we can, take off the information that we can't provide as private data, but we can certainly get some information from there if you would like to see that.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to know what it was for.
Yeah,
that makes sense, all right?
That's my understanding, was our computer upgrade.
Okay.
And by government standards, we had to only use it on certain things that were considered COVID relief fund. And that was one of them.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Any further public input?
Mike is on.
That's all. Sure.
We'll move on to the mayor and council reports. I have one announcement. I believe council received an email from the Evelyn School, Gilbert High School, for the Memorial Day program. It's the last one in their building, so they reached out and wanted to invite council and members of the public to attend the Memorial Day program they have at Evelyn Gilbert High School Boardman Auditorium. The date is May 25th at 7 p.m. And that's all I have. Councilor Potenon?
I don't have anything right now.
Councilor Pulis?
The only thing I have is let's get ahead of blight this year and help Ty out from stressing out about it.
Councilor Skinsich?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. We'll move on to the reports, staff, boards, and commissions. City Attorney Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. No formal report, but I am happy to field any questions if the council has any.
Thank you. City Engineer John.
Formal report except a few more items on the agenda.
Thank you. Chief of Police, Chief Teacher.
Mayor, the only thing I have is the CEA. If you have any questions, I think I laid it out fairly clearly as to the reasons for it. Again, like I stated, this is not a budgeted item, but due to the issues we've had two of the tasers are not even functioning at this time. And due to the pricing increase, I was able to lock into a 2022 price. The money, I'm asking that we are able to transfer the 345075 from the forfeiture fund. This is actually money from when I was a can handler in 2002 on a $12,000 narcotics seizure. So we're using money from 20 years ago to pay for this. So like I said, it won't affect our city budget at all in regards to any cost to the taxpayer. So in fact, ironically, the last time we bought tasers, that was paid for through with forfeiture money also. So this will be the last of the money from 2002 from a $12,000 bust. The biggest thing is the total cost. I can pay for it this year. In the future, we need to look at how we want to pay for it. There's two options. It would be not purchasing a squad car next year. And like I said, I had a grant for it, but I think that the grant that I'm applying for new radios for the fire department and police department is probably a little better use of that fund because of the amount. So I don't know if there's any questions.
So how much are you looking for tonight?
Tonight, I would like the 345075. That way, we can work in, as we work on our budget in the future, we can look at, we have capital this year for purchase of a new squad car. Next year, I have no intentions of purchasing a new squad car. So we can look at that 30,000, bump that back to half that next year, and then maybe look at paying it off that way, or we can continue on a payment plan. I generally don't like going on a payment plan just because I don't like to usually have the money in hand to pay for it. But unfortunately, my 11-year run of getting grants for everything is running out. So I'm kind of running out of options. And like I said, 2 of them aren't even working. I'll try to piece together 3 of them and make one for myself. Mine's no longer working either. And I've only deployed a taser twice in my career, so I don't use it quite as often as the other officers do, which we don't have a lot of deployments, but it's become kind of the new use of force over the last couple of years. Is kind of the go-to. So yeah, so we have an option. I want to pay for it this year. Because it's not budgeted, we'll pull the money from the forfeiture fund, which we can justify that forfeiture money to use for this because it is police equipment used for the enforcement of narcotics and stuff like that. So we can justify the money by transferring it.
So that money comes from when you confiscated a car and you sell it?
This was a $12,000 that was seized inside of a dash of a car on a traffic stop. So it's cash.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So we're just using the rest of that money up from 2002.
Okay.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Pulis,
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Pontonen to approve Chief Teacher to go ahead with the purchase of the tasers and for this year in the amount of $3,450.75. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. Do you have anything else, Chief?
I do not.
Thank you. Chief Fire Department's not here. Public Works.
I only got a couple things right now. One was we had one summer help application. I think we went out, put it in the paper for like 3 weeks, and we had one. So I think we need to still advertise for that. I'll advertise for a couple weeks now still, but I was just wondering if the council would be able to hire the one applicant we had. It is Kevin Lind. He's been employed with us for about 2 or 3 years over the summer. If this is something you guys can do, I know it's not on the agenda, but we could really use his help getting them started next week, possibly. Like I say, it's we're kind of backed up here up at the cemetery. We got stuff to do. We got some stuff to do down at the campground yet and ball fields, and we're just pretty busy with the late spring, not being able to get out street sweeping right away. And like I say, we're just need us some employees right now. So hopefully you guys would be able to hire Kevin Lind for summer help. He's our one applicant. So.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Polis.
I'll support.
Supported by Councilor Skinsich. Any further discussion?
So are we going to make the motion to also include reposting for
Yep.
another 2 weeks?
Yep, I'll repost for another 2 weeks. And
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor? This is a motion to allow Public Works, Sam, to continue the application process for a second summertime help and the approval of Kevin Lind's hiring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0.
the other items that come up was alley pickup and leaves and brush. We're pretty strapped right now. I don't know what to do. Usually we had alley pickup here, beginning of May and middle of May over the last couple of years, but I know we're down an employee up at the garage, with summer help, being down. It's kind of tough to be able to offer alley pickup. Plus like I said, we're behind schedule. About a month, where normally we have street sweeping done probably close to the middle of April, so we're able to do more stuff. We're not even done with street sweeping yet. We still have alleys, we still have some of the streets to do. So I don't know what council would like to do. I know in the past we've hired temporary people to do alley pickup. But as you've seen, we haven't even got any summer help either. So I don't know what, if there's any suggestions by council or hold off, maybe we can do something later June.
I think we just gotta push it back a little bit.
Yeah, if you can't do it right now, you can't do it right now.
I know, maybe we'll talk about it at the next meeting is what we can do and see what my workload is then. Hopefully we'll be getting caught up by then. But right now I can't do it. Just with the amount of people I have and whatnot. So sorry to the public, it's kind of a bummer, but yeah.
We had a goofy spring with the late thaw and everything. But, so Mr. Lynn would be hired by then, next council, or?
No,
your
we can
pro-
hire Mr. or Kevin by this council, but by this council meeting, so maybe we can get him started here next week. But
next week, so he'd be on by next.
Yeah.
And
by the next
hopefully you'll
council.
have another so we can
Maybe do it then, yeah.
get it caught up. Yep, perfect.
So, yeah, I'll bring it up at the next meeting and see where we're at, But I know the dump does take leaves for free. I don't know about brush, but I know they do take leaves. You just bring them over to the dump, you unbag them, and it's a free service they provide. You just got to bring them there. So that's all. The other thing is, I know it was early, it's not on the agenda. The railings up at the chapel, I know Leo brought it up up in public input. I don't know if that's something council wants to look at the next meeting, or is that something we can move forward with? I don't know. What's the thought on the council on that?
Sam, if I may. I know that in the budget, there's $5,000 allocated for the cemetery fund every year. So you could legally or technically spend the money, and like I say, we would be willing to assist in the purchase or installation of the railings. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to put it in the agenda. But if you kick it around a little bit and see what you want to do, but time is of the essence. According to Sam, and I did talk to Scotty, that he probably could get them up by Memorial Day if we can act on it and send the go-ahead for it. I don't know, whatever you think. But
We're asking for a positive decision, and as soon as possible, if you would make that decision at this meeting, it would be most helpful.
thank you.
Thank you.
Like I say, I don't know. I just brought up to me, Monday. So, if it's up to the council if they want to act on it now or wait till the next meeting. It's
Do you have a figure in mind on what it's going to cost?
I got a quote for $3,400. So.
And possibly 1,000 from.
Possibly 2,400.
Yeah.
Right.
If they're asking.
It would probably be like I say, mostly the city would pay all $3,400, and then a donation would go to from them guys to the city.
That's a budgeted item then.
Well, like Leo did say, there was $5,000 in the budget for cemetery, but it's.
And as an elderly person, I know it's needed, and it should have been done years ago. We are strapped for money, but I think we can maybe squeeze out $2,400 to do it. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I'll move to support the spending for the stairs.
Moved by Councillor Polis,
I'd second.
supported by Councillor Skinsich to go ahead with the purchase of the handrail for the $3,400. And any further discussion? One comment, Jill, do you think there's any grant monies out there that would help?
No, I can certainly look into some, again, and I know Ty and I have talked to a point from some of the foundations around the area. We've got a game plan of, just starting to submit some application to all these places. I mean, if we don't try to find, we'll never get money. So we're gonna start, just kind of wherever we can and put an application in and see what we can get back.
Excellent. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Other than that, I don't have it. Like I say, I mentioned we're still in the middle of street sweeping. I know the cemetery's a mess from over the winter here. It's just been so soft and saturated up there. We're going to try to get up there as soon as we can, clean it up, but we're doing what we can.
I just want to make a simple comment on Public Works cleaned up the boulevard by the VFW today and did an excellent job for the project that was never completed. So thank you. Anything else? Nothing else, Sam?
No, I haven't.
Okay. We'll move on to the advisory boards. Library Director Sue.
Hello. Let's see, we have a book sale going on the weekend of June 8, 9, 10. So it'll be 10 to 6, 10 to 6, and on Saturday it'll be 10 to 2. We have free spider plants for Mother's Day. Come and pick them up. We are going to be giving out a survey. We did a Minnesota survey for Wi-Fi. We got a grant for $4,800. This would be Jody Brunovsky from Virginia and I, and we put together a survey. This is it's to ask whether you have Wi-Fi, don't have Wi-Fi, or it's slow, or where do you have to go to get it. And we put together the 4-page survey. We have stamped envelopes in case you can't bring it back. Send it in for us. And this is the Quad City, Evelyn, Mount Iron, Virginia, and Gilbert areas and outlying areas. And this is for the state because they would like to put together these surveys and find out where they might help in bringing in the Wi-Fi for people who haven't got it or who can't afford it. And then I was so happy. Joe Peterson, the owner and principal engineer of Iron Range Engineering and Consulting Services, gave the Gilbert Library a $2,000 donation for STEM projects for kids and their families to work on together. We put together a list. Anybody who would like to see the list, please come by. I'd be happy to give it to you and let you see. It's all on Amazon. And these go from the very young to high schoolers and their families. We have coding, solar energy, water energy, heat, circuiting, coding, and it's all sort of a Mod Podge. They'll be borrowed out. Each project will be borrowed out for 1 week. No renewals. We'll have to pick different projects so everybody can use it. And we will also be borrowing these out to the schools in our area. So we're very happy about this one. And that's all I have. Oh, summer reading starts first week of June. We'll try to get all those little kids and have a good thing. Any questions?
None from me. Thank you, Sue.
Betcha.
We'll move on to Campground Director Wendy.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I had about 15 campers this weekend, and even though it was raining, they all seemed to enjoy themselves, especially those four-wheelers. They came back pretty muddy. I haven't been able to get out and do much as far as picking up the campground because of the weather. You know, there's branches laying around and leaves that's got to be raked up and pine cones. But hopefully it'll dry soon and I can get that done. I'm going next week and pick up the flowers to put in my tires that I have so that I can get them planted before Memorial Weekend, like I do every year. And I'm looking forward to a busier weekend this coming weekend. We got about 35 campers coming in. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I got one question for you. That improved area where the outside lap or road goes around and then you've got by the gazebo, their area there. I walked by there and it was pretty muddy and saw some tire tracks in there. Is that an issue with anybody driving over that and as soft as it is? Should that be marked?
It's right now the D loop has got barricades on both ends.
It does, okay.
Yeah, so nobody drives in there until they can get in there and get it, more gravel put in and it dries up a bit.
Yeah, and because of the wetness we had, I walked through there and I saw some tire tracks and they sunk about 6 inches in there, so it looked pretty mucky, and with ATVers wanting to play in the mud, would they want to run through it, so.
Exactly.
But if you have any of those issues, let the police department know.
Yeah, I've been in contact with the contractor over the last couple weeks in that area. Trying to get it fixed up, and it's just too wet for him to come in and do anything. So we're gonna get him in there as soon as we can. And the road seems pretty hard. It's just trying to get everybody so they stay off the road. But I know I told Wendy the first weekend, hopefully she doesn't have anybody in the D loops to where they don't have to drive there. We could keep that off without passage for the next even a week. But hopefully it'll start drying out to where we can get that contractor in and get them finished up.
That'll be nice. Thank you.
I do have one more thing. They put a culvert in that D loop to direct a lot of that water off because it was a wet area right there.
Yeah.
And so they put a nice culvert in, and it looks like it's draining really well. So.
Just gotta wait for it to dry up now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to Clerk Zoller.
Hello. I've got a couple things to update. So first things first, I want to thank the 3rd of July committee for working with me. I know this is a different process than what they're used to, but it was something different for me too. So I just wanted to make sure that we had a clear process and we, dotted our I's, checked everything out so that we weren't doing anything incorrectly and the policy was correct. Secondly, I want to thank John and Sam for getting all the information to everybody earlier and Randy for running IT while I'm out. To answer Councilor Thompson earlier about finances, just to let everybody know we did get our bond for the fire truck. The fire truck has been paid for. The $243,000 for the public works truck will be set in the capital fund for equipment. I did get from Ellers, we can invest that depending on how long it will take us to get the actual fire truck. So depending on how long that is and what finances or investments, which a CD is what I was thinking is it's more of a guarantee. Those are options we can look into. Thirdly, on our check register about the last 8, where you see the large check numbers, those are all ACH pulls, meaning they come out of the checking account immediately. So of the $212,000 that's listed and changed at the bottom, there's actually only about $83,000 of checks that need to clear from our checking. Currently, we have about $220,866 in checking, and that is after the first payroll of May. So we have a second payroll, and in June we should get our first funding from the state. Campground fund after the $13,866 in the tile has $61,996.10. And that is all I have for you guys. Any questions?
The money, that 800,000, that money that was supposed to be replaced by that PFA loan, for the redo of the filters, do you anticipate that coming in soon?
I just asked Steve Bradshaw. He said he's waiting on a supervisor approval, and then he'll get more information to me. I did let him know we're holding Stantec and Magnus payments, pending that coming in, as their sizable balances. Otherwise, hopefully maybe after our first June state payment, we'll be able to pay them off and then just do reimbursements from there. So it's kind of a hurry and wait right there. I'm not really sure an exact date yet, but he's hoping to get me an answer hopefully next week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I guess I should ask everybody too. I finally got our SAM.gov figured out and cleared, so we all are good there as far as any of our federal grants go. So we can start submitting those as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to old business, the wastewater treatment plant.
They should be pretty much wrapping up tomorrow, I believe, with all the new filter installation. The other project stuff, they're still working on. But pretty much, I believe all the filters are in. The air bleed valves, that's what they're working on today. So they're pretty much complete with that Kubota system membrane install. So other than that, I don't have anything else.
How about though? Go ahead.
If I could?
Go ahead.
Sam, with 2 of those online, is that, does it seem like it's performing like we hoped?
There's 3 of them online.
All 3 of them online?
All 3 of them are online. As far as I know, the numbers, it is performing, I guess, is what I understand. So it's supposed to be, it's doing what it's doing, and it's doing that 691 or whatever was in the spec. I had Bob down there this week, or Councilor Pondman, and gave him a tour and showed him what I meant by the front end and the back end of the plant were having issues and whatnot. So, you know, we did bypass quite a bit of sewage this spring. I don't know, a normal spring, I don't think we would have to bypass.
I noticed it was full.
But it's been full, and like I say, I think it was close to 10 million gallons we bypassed. So it was for almost 2 weeks we were bypassing. But other towns had the same issues. I mean, I know I heard on the news one night, Proctor had a no use of water, tried to do a no use of water because it was so over flooded down there. So, I mean, we didn't flood any houses. We didn't, you know, yeah, we had to bypass, but, you know, is the plant doing what we need? I believe so. Is it doing, you know, I need to get somebody down there that's, you know, maybe it's talking with Peter Daniels on it and making sure the numbers are where they're supposed to be. But that's something I haven't had a chance over the last probably week and a half because I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to him about it to make sure that's where our numbers are going to be. So.
Well, and I suppose, like you said, right now, the influx of melting snow and everything else coming down, and it's not a real accurate time to...
No, it's tough, you know. But yeah, hopefully maybe there's going to be maybe I'll be able to figure something out by the next council meeting and talk about it a little bit more.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
I know Sam and I had the conversation about, you know, when is this plant ever going to be complete to be working like it should be, and it's not there yet. Even with these new filters, that might have solved that problem, but there's other issues with the front end and the back end, like he said, which will have to be addressed at some point.
Yep. All right.
You know, it may need to have a new engineering firm down there to really give some, you know, what has to be done. I don't know if we can rely on Stantec anymore, you know, with what we've had problems with them in the past. I think it might be time to move to a different engineering outfit to see if they have some new eyes on it and see what they can do to fix these other issues that we have besides the membranes.
All right.
Anything else on that, Sam? No. Water treatment plant?
I have nothing, just this geotechnical proposal and quotes for you guys to approve. That's all I have.
Okay. That's it for old business. Moving to new business, the biosolids.
This is something that has kind of been ongoing for a while. It's not going to take any council action like I thought it was at first. I gained some more information from our chairman. for the biosolids committee. So I don't know if anybody read in the packet the kind of the history and whatnot of biosolids, but you know, it's after the plant digests it, you got the liquid that goes down the creek, and you got solids that you spread on fields. You know, you're able to spread these solids on fields. It's got to be, you know, time and temperature and whatnot. One of our field proposals, the county has proposed to possibly purchase that acreage from us. So what the biosolids is looking at doing is possibly selling that acreage to the county in lieu of possibly getting a what would it be, a trailer press for the biosolids. So instead of hauling the liquid solids up to these lands and land applying it, we would run a trailer press out down at the sewer plant and press it out to almost like a black dirt material, and then we would haul it to the landfill. So that's what the biosolids group has been working on for, I think, about a year and a half. We're to the point where we need some engineering done down at our sewer plant to where we need, we're looking at maybe possibly putting this trailer on it's got to be on a slab and being able to have power close to, but it sounds like the engineering and stuff is all going to be run through the biosolids, and then you know, there might be a little bit of engineering that I might have to get from John here and there on it, or might have to get some ideas from him and run this by him. But I thought it was at first we were going to need to do this engineering and all of it ourselves, but it's all going to be run through the biosolids. The work will be done through the biosolids, so the biosolids will they'll get one bid for all 3 cities, or 4 cities if Virginia's involved, because that's what it is. It's Quad Cities biosolids, so Evelyn, Gilbert, Mountain Iron, and Virginia are all involved in this. So they would all be building sites for this trailer to be brought to each facility to get rid of their digester, or empty it out, or whatever. So, but there's nothing as of now that we need from the council. There might be an accepting of the proposals or something like that later on, and possibly, you know, some involvement when the land sale or the land swap comes to. So that's all I just wanted to bring it up. We've been doing some stuff at the biosolids, letting the council know on that end. If there's any other questions.
So at some point, we may have to sell that land that we own up at the landfill in a trade-off to get this press, is what you're saying?
Yes.
And then that'll have to be taken care of by Brian I'm sure, you know, to record everything that is sold and whatever it takes, you know, right?
I believe so. If there's any information, yeah, we will get Brian involved with it.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's actually good news for a change.
It is, and you know, the biosolids is going out for grants to do this work. Right. So, yeah.
Good. Anything else on biosolids?
Unless, you know, if counselors got any other questions, feel free to give a call or whatever and ask on it. So.
Yep. Thank you. Geotechnical proposal quotes.
This is a geotechnical quote for the new water plant facility area. SCH did the bidding process. I believe they got 2 quotes. They suggested going with the low quote. I don't know who it was. Was it Braun, I believe? Should be in the packet. I wasn't able to print off the packet, so. But they suggested giving the bid to the low quote. They've worked with this facility or these people before. You know, and it's where the new facility is. They're gonna go drill some bore sites around where the proposed site is and see what the area is like. And then I think they are also gonna do a kind of a well type thing for metering the water levels or water table. So.
Yeah, it's...
So you need approval to go ahead with for them to continue with the boring.
Yeah, I believe it was Braun for $22,750.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, to pick which quote.
Yep, low quote is them.
Yeah.
And so where does that money come from then?
Come out of the water fund.
We actually have to come up with the money. There's no grants or loans that we're waiting.
No, not as of now. Not as of now, no.
Ooh, yeah. I hope we got money in that one.
I mean, we can accept it and hold off, I think. I could talk to Kevin tomorrow or, you know, to see, but.
Because we have quite some time before we really need those borings, right? I mean, you know, if we could wait until this audit is over and see where we stand, you know, for 22,000.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that dire, we should hold off. We can accept it, but I know, this would be a Brian question, or I could talk to, if you'd like me to give Kevin a call, I can give him a call if there's any need, but I don't know how long the quote is for. You know, it might only be 30 days, or it might be, I don't know their timeline either, so.
And I didn't read anything in the material.
I don't know, maybe we can wait till the next meeting to see take a closer look at what we have in the water fund, if we can even see what we got in there.
It does say, we base our proposed fee and scope of services described and the assumptions that you will authorize our services within 30 days.
Which that'll be the next.
Yeah.
And that others will not delay us beyond proposed schedule.
Yeah, I just saw that too, so we have 30 days.
So we got 2 weeks till the next meeting. Why don't we take a closer look at what we have in the utilities, to see if we can afford it.
Yep.
And have it, so just table it, or?
I think we should I'll motion to table it for now.
Yeah, all right.
Motion, go ahead.
Yeah.
For now?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
tell Kevin the next meeting we should be.
Reach out to him and.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him. I know it did say the 30 days in there, which the quotes were, April 18th, I think. They were taken, so
May 18th.
30 days would be May 18th, give or take some.
So that puts us over it.
We can always ask for an extension on that. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. So say it's up to council. And, by the time these guys got here, they probably wouldn't come till June anyways, mid-June. So, if the council did approve it, or we could tell them, hold off till July. We don't want you to till July. So, if you were nervous about, approving them now, we can tell them to hold off till, approve it, and then tell them to hold off till July to get in there due to weather or whatever, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Well, yeah. Why don't you just table it and see.
Table it till the next meeting.
Yeah.
Motion by Councilor Pulis to table.
I'll support.
The geotechnical proposal quotes supported by Councilor Skinsich. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. None. Motion carries 4-0. The franchise fee, access channel 12. Clerk Zoller, do you want to explain that?
Do you want me to look at overview there?
Would you please?
Sure. So from what I understand, the Mayor and I was meeting, we used to belong to Access 12. Back in the day, they had some connectivity issues and broadcasting issues, et cetera, which they have now fixed. We since then have been with Access 2, came through the city of White Lakes. In the past, we paid White Lakes about $4,500 a month to be with them, for them, our recordings, et cetera. City of White Lakes is no longer the fiscal agent, so will now be being billed directly, but have not been billed yet, so we're not sure what the new fees are gonna be. With that said, anybody that subscribes within our city limits through MediaCom, we receive a stipend. On your sheet that I gave you, we receive on average $13,000 a year. Access 12 would like us to come back to them, and if we were to sign a contract with them, they would do our recordings, they would, they're looking at merging with Rockridge so that they maybe can foster some more kids to do meteorology, broadcasting, those types of trainings, and incorporate this into more of a school training session as well. And then with that, we would be with Outlook, Fail, and I think they said, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like a third, and a third, but it actually broke down to where Outlook actually paid like 60%, we paid, I think it was like 16%, and Fail paid like 12%. So it was a really weird calculation, but the contract that we used to have, I attached. If we so chose to move forward and do this, the city council would then be charged with what do we want to give to them, do we want to sign a contract, and all of that feasibility issues that would go along with those contracts and change, et cetera, et cetera. The last page of your packet is kind of where their funds go, so it gives you a breakdown of how they spend the money that we would be giving to them. Of course, I'm showing them would help them buy new equipment, and the camera is about $20,000 in itself. So having us join them would just give them the ability to go a lot further than the in-kind services that Rockridge gives and the portion of the money that they receive from Outlook and Fail. So that's their biggest point of asking us to come back to them. Again, their connectivity issues have all been solved. I expect that our issues would be no different than what we have currently. Pretty seamless. It would just be we do with our side more than the east side over there, the White Lakes and more than that. That's the gist of it.
That's correct.
I would expect if we did go back, we need Attorney Lindsay to really kind of go over that contract, give us some pointers, suggestions, et cetera.
Jill, did they say that this is the old contract, obviously, but did they have a new contract? I don't remember.
Yes, they would be willing to enter a new contract if we chose to go that route, and then at that point, I believe all the terms and things would be ironed out. Once we decided if we went forward, how we want to move forward, et cetera. They did state some cities donate 100% of their franchise fees back. Otherwise, there's, I do believe, a minimum we have to give, and that's where that breakdown calculation of how it used to be. So I don't know how the changes would be if we went back to them today. Those are things we have to iron out before we actually sign on the dotted line with our attorney.
So I guess it takes some more looking into to see what our savings will be over what we have now, right? And then we can make that determination if we want to switch. You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we just table it then, right?
Table it until we find out more information?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to table.
Okay.
Motion by Councilor Polis to table the franchise fees. proposal
Do we gather more?
until we gather more information.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Potenon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0 to table. The approved plumbing purchase agreement.
That gets,
I think from discussion, we're gonna table it to have them work.
yeah.
Or take no action, or?
Or, yeah.
He's
We
directed
just take
to
no
work
action
with
at this time.
Sam and John, city engineers.
Yeah, yeah. So, with that, approved plumbing was directed to work with city engineer John Jamnick and City Public Works Director Sam for future proposal. Moving on to position descriptions for the wastewater.
If I may,
Go ahead, please.
the previous two position descriptions were already approved, so we're just looking to get the wastewater approved, and then, go ahead and vote for those internally and externally, and after the 7-day internals.
So, yeah, this is for the job description for the wastewater operator. Water and wastewater operator / equipment.
So are we doing these separate, I guess?
The other two were, I guess it's just to approve the wastewater, because the other two we approved.
I'll move to approve the wastewater qualifications.
Job descriptions.
Descriptions.
I'll second.
And also advertise.
Yes, that was,
The second one.
that was for this position, or I believe for both.
Was it in-house already? Was it posted in-house? So it has to be posted in-house and then put out later.
If you get the approval to go to hire, review the hiring process.
Or aren't we just doing the job description? We're approving the job description.
Right now.
Yeah, right.
Yes, job description right now,
Right,
yes.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Polis, seconded by Councilor Skinsich to approve the job description for the water wastewater operator equipment employee. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0. And now we need a motion to
Post internally?
post it for internally.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Polis,
Second.
supported by Councilor Potenon to approve the internal process of hiring this water wastewater operator, equipment operator. Any further discussion?
Does that also give us approval if we don't get anybody posting internally for it? We can go out to advertise?
Then that would be the next step,
Another
correct?
motion, another motion,
I don't,
yeah.
I just didn't want to come back to council and say.
right, no.
We'll make another motion after this one then. Huh?
Do we need to
Brian?
make two motions
Or
on
can
that,
we
or
add
can
it
that
to this
be?
one?
That's just part of the process.
Technically, this could be, it could all be combined into one motion. And,
Okay.
I mean, as a technical matter, we could indicate that the motion would be to post pursuant to the city's policy and the collective bargaining agreement. And then that would cover the internal for a week and then going external if there's no internal candidate.
Per union or per contract
Okay.
hiring process, so. So yes, any further discussion? This is to allow the hiring process for the 1 week internally.
Yep.
And after that to allow it to go outside pursuant to the union contract.
Correct.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0. In the DWRF application, water treatment plant.
So this application I worked with SEH on, and they actually had to have it submitted by the 5th, so it has been submitted. But it's the Minnesota Department of Health for us to go for funding for the water treatment, for the other plant.
And that's that resolution, Jill, that I have to read?
I'm sorry?
Is that the resolution I have to read?
No, just authorization for us to go ahead and make application, and they'll bring a resolution, if approved at a later date, to go ahead and accept funding and utilize those funds.
I'll move to go out for application.
Moved by Councilor Skinsich, supported by Councilor Polis to allow the going out for the application process for the DWRF application. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm wrong. I did have a resolution in there, but you don't have to read it because it's already in the packet. My mistake.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None, motion carries 4-0. And the school parcel offer.
$1.
They can always counter.
Yep.
That's true. Now, is that $1 for each parcel or $1 for all three?
What's the legal minimum, put it that way? Is there a legal minimum?
So in this case, we could make a nominal offer of $1.
$1
For all three properties?
Correct. I'm game with that.
Right.
With the explanation that the structure, Jill, did you copy that conversation? With the debris that's in the shirt factory property? So we, for the shirt factory property behind Broadview Manor, there was.
Are we separating that from the purchase for the road access to the property behind the school, or are we going to include them? I did catch the earlier conversation.
Yeah, we were going, pardon me?
All together?
All together.
Yeah, put it all together, but with the explanation that we found out the debris and the demolition was all buried there, that's going to be a big cost factor if there is any development. So
I can reference what happened at our property down by Dollar General, down by Delta Dental as well, as that's, as a reference of the cost increase of that $350,000 for that cobble that was included there as a reference.
Right.
Excellent.
Example.
Exactly.
Yep.
That exactly. Perfect. So
The other question that got brought up,
In this process, there's going to be some legal fees, such as, writing up the legal parcels and purchase agreement and whatnot. Would the city pay all those costs, or, do Brian or have Brian do all that, the costs? With the filing fees and all that to do the purchase agreement.
I guess I wouldn't have a problem with it, just because we've done that with other people that have bought property from us, but.
yeah, with the city acquiring the legal fees.
Yeah.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Yeah, my office is more than capable of handling that type of work. We do it for the city, and we offer municipal rates on all the municipal work. So filing fees obviously we can't change, but purchase agreements and things you get at the standard hourly rate.
So do we have to put that into motion that we will cover the closing costs then?
The legal fees.
I would just say the cost of the transaction. If you get it for $1, that's generally a fairly good
return. And I know with the conversation It's a conversation.
That was brought up between Russ and Noel Schmidt at the time, and he said sometimes that goes a long way with like dealing with other councils and whatnot, saying we'll pick up the legal fees and all that acquires
So all
the transaction.
Fees will be covered by the city then?
Yeah.
We can give that as our offer also.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's
Part
fair.
of, yeah, right, yeah. So should we include that in the motion? And
Yeah, I think so, the motion to...
Motion? I think I did I?
Did you? I don't know
Or
if
did I
you
just say
did.
I was gonna offer?
I don't know if you...
I don't think anybody made the
Transactions.
motion yet.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Counselor Skinsich to offer the school $1 for the properties to include the cost of the financial transactions.
I'll support.
Supported by Counselor Pulis. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. Any miscellaneous announcements? None. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Counselor Pulis.
Support.
Seconded by Counselor Skinsich to adjourn our city council meeting at 7:10 or 8.
And say ain't no
10 to 8. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. None. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.